Okay, it's now 10 o'clock. So I think we're going to get started. Thanks to everyone for joining us. I'm going to hand over now to Elizabeth, who's going to do a bit of an introduction.
Right. Thank you, Josh. Good morning to everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. I am Elizabeth Morley, and I am one of the founders of HobbyX. And HobbyX, as you probably know, is South Africa's premier exhibition for the hobby, craft, and leisure industries. So in an ideal world, we would be sitting over a cup of coffee and chatting, or we would be having a glass of bubbly together to celebrate the good news that we are sharing with you today. For 23 years, HobbyX has been bringing a world of fun to South Africans looking for ways to enhance their leisure time. We have connected businesses to each other, whilst we've introduced brands to consumers, and we have educated consumers about the merits of different products. We have facilitated a platform where end users can try their hand at different tools, techniques, materials, and where retailers can source the same for their stores at HobbyX. And they create the demand through the exposure at HobbyX. We have worked hard to position HobbyX as the go-to resource for everybody in the business of fun. But today we are delighted to begin a new phase in the life of HobbyX. And as we hand over ownership to Messe Frankfurt, South Africa. Joshua Lowe, who's the MD of Messe Frankfurt, will tell you a little bit more about them in a little while, about the company and its portfolio of events. But I want to tell you that we couldn't wish for a better fit for HobbyX. Messe Frankfurt has a large, motivated and experienced team of individuals, of professionals, who are looking after every facet of their events. Their vast experience makes them a significant and impressive and well-respected organizer, whilst their hands-on approach means that they are always available. They also have a formidable marketing team. And those of you familiar with HobbyX will know that Gloria and I have always believed that the key to a successful event lies in the marketing. You can have the best exhibitors in the world in the best exhibition setup, but if you don't attract the right visitors to the show, that exhibition will not be a success. And so we're really thrilled that the Messe Frankfurt team are already working on strengthening the marketing campaign for HobbyX, and they have committed to an even larger budget for the event. Gloria and I will continue to work with Messe Frankfurt on the next edition of HobbyX, but we're really excited to see what Joshua and his team have planned, what the future holds for this already successful event as they take it to new and greater heights. And so, Mr. Joshua Lowe, Managing Director of Messe Frankfurt, South Africa.
Hello, everyone. And yeah, it'd be nice to see you face to face, as Elizabeth said, but with these interesting times, unfortunately, we can't. So we thought this would be a good platform, and we're very excited. Please, just to give you a bit of background for those of you who don't know or haven't been on a webinar before, you should see on your tab at the bottom, there is a comments and a chat functionality. So please engage with us as we're going through this. If you've got questions, please interact with us. We'd love to hear your views. My colleague, Annalie, will take over after I've spoken, and she'll be going through the concept. And we're going to run a number of polls, so we encourage you to participate. I'm very happy to see that we have 54 people on this webinar this morning, which is really great. And yeah, we look forward to engaging with you during this webinar session and obviously in the months to come. So as we start, I'd just like to give you guys a bit of background in terms of who Messe Frankfurt is. You can see the nice logo in the background. And, you know, we are the oldest exhibition organizer in the world, over 800 years. And it's a very interesting history. We have subsidiaries in over 28 different countries. And so we're the third largest trade fair and congress organizer in the world. We also do a lot of very similar but more B2B focused events. Some of you might know Ambiente, which is the largest consumer goods show in the world, which normally receives over 300,000 visitors in a week. It's normally in the first quarter of each year. We also do Creative World, Paper World, and Christmas World, which take place in various subsidiaries around the world. Next slide, please. And then just locally, Messe Frankfurt is one of the top 3 organizers in the country. We do a range of fairs, and what I'm encouraged to see is that a lot of the exhibitors who exhibit at HobbyX do participate in some of these other events. All Fashion Sourcing, which is the largest textiles, apparel, and footwear show in the world, in Africa. Love it to be the biggest in the world. Aero, which is our general aviation show we launched last year. We have Photo and Video Experience. Some of you might know Photo and Film. We bought that event and we rebranded it and launched it last year at Kyalami with great success. Automechanica and Future Road is an automotive aftermarket commercial vehicle show, which is again the biggest in Africa. Some of you may have attended Festival of Motoring, which is our experiential motoring event, which happens at Kyalami. Emerald Speed Fest we launched earlier this year, which is the richest motorsport event in Africa. It's very similar to the Knysna Hill Climb and the Goodwood Festival of Speed in the UK. And then Botica, you guys, a lot of you might not know the brand because we were going to launch it this year when the live event was scheduled to happen in October, but it used to be the Cape Town International Boat Show. So overall, we have 8 to 10 shows in our portfolio. We're very happy to include HobbyX going forward. Last year, we had over 113,000 different visitors to our events. And we have a current database which will be promoting HobbyX to of over 185,000. And yeah, just before I hand over to Gloria, who's going to give all of you a bit of an overview of what HobbyX is for those of you who haven't participated in the past. As I said, my name is Joshua Lowe. I'm the managing director. Your show team, we have Annalie Reynolds on the call. She's the show director for the events. She also is a show director for Aero and for ESF, and she's done incredible work in terms of growing those events. Gloria, who a lot of you will know very well, will still be very much involved for the first year. And Marlene Bosch, who is the sales manager for the event and works on a number of other events. And then our support team, Neil Piper, is our head of conferencing and content. Byron and his team, Byron's the head of operations with Carla and Hafsa. They'll be there to assist you in terms of setting up your booths, ordering services, setting up the floor plan. And then we have Melissa, who's on the call, our head of marketing, and Priyanka, who's going to be assisting her as the marketing manager on the show. So we've got a very big, dedicated team. I know it's quite daunting when we've taken over events. You're used to working with 2 or 3 people. You've developed a very good relationship, I'm sure, with Elizabeth and Gloria over the years, but we are very much dedicated to customer service, and we are here to help you and to make sure that you have an excellent experience with us as Messe Frankfurt. So I'm going to hand over to Gloria now. Just a running order. Gloria is going to say a quick bit, as I said, in terms of HobbyX, the history. Annalie then will take over and give you a nice overview of our plans for next year's event and going forward. And then Melissa will run through some of the marketing things that we're planning, some of the feature areas at the show, and then Annalie will take over again and close the webinar. So thank you. As I said, please engage with us as we're going through it. Put your comments in the comments tab, questions, and we'll respond to them as much as we can. We are recording this webinar, and we will be sending a mailer out to all the people who registered after this webinar so that you can share it with your extended database. So thank you very much for joining us and for taking time out of your busy schedule. And we look forward to meeting you in due course.
Thank you so much, Josh. As many of you know, I'm Gloria Bastos. I'm one of the founders of HobbyX. And now that you know a little bit more about Messe Frankfurt and you've heard everything that Josh has had to say, I'm sure you can understand why we're delighted to be passing the baton onto them. And we really feel that the future of HobbyX in their hands is a bright future, which is good for all of us. Now, it's common knowledge that I'm passionate about HobbyX, and I'm always happy to talk about it, mainly because I know with confidence that HobbyX delivers great results for our exhibitors. And many of you attending today are already very familiar with the show, and you've experienced these results firsthand. But for those of you who have never exhibited and don't really know enough about the show, what I would say to you is that HobbyX is probably best known as the place where everyone, from industry leaders to small business startups, can come together to showcase their diverse ranges of hobby, craft, and leisure products to thousands of loyal and targeted buyers. Now, these buyers descend on HobbyX with great anticipation and with a desire to buy, which is excellent for all of us. Now, we often use the analogy that people buy magazines because they want to read the articles, and the adverts are just an irritation. But exhibitions are different. People actually visit HobbyX for the adverts. In other words, they come to buy from you and they come to look at what you have to offer. So it's a fantastic platform and fairly unique from that point of view. Our exhibitors are mostly manufacturers, wholesalers, and distributors, big and small, and they attend the show mainly with these objectives in mind. They want to increase their distribution channel, and they want to get their products into more retail stores. Once the products are in those retail stores, they want to increase the demand for them, and they want to increase the sales. And they do this by creating greater awareness of their brands and products amongst consumers. Now think about it, most manufacturers often get very few opportunities to deal with the consumer. And HobbyX is one of the few platforms where distributors and manufacturers get to interact directly with them. And after all, consumers are the ultimate users of your products. Most times we have to rely on staff within retail stores to promote your brands, and I think we all know how that goes. But at the show, you can tell everyone exactly why they should choose your products over your competitors. In some cases, exhibitors also use HobbyX very successfully to engender goodwill amongst the public towards their brands. And they do this through product giveaways, by offering prizes for competitions, and they also associate their brands with fun activities and fun experiences for the visitors at the show. And yes, there's always the incentive of great sales at HobbyX, and if nothing else, you should be there for that. Now, the interesting thing is that the objectives that I've just mentioned are successfully achieved across a very broad range of products and categories. HobbyX covers areas like creative craft items, scholastic, design and art materials, machinery, equipment, the latest laser and 3D technology, intricate Meccano models, cars, planes, trains, artistic expression, woodwork, and all of those things, even exotic hobbies like reptiles as pets. Not one of my hobbies, but yes, some people love that. Now, what all of these distributors of the different products and categories have in common is one major thing. They all depend on consumers as the ultimate buyers of their products, and many of them also need the support of the retail stores as their middleman. And I can confidently tell you that HobbyX is uniquely positioned to deliver on both of these fronts. And it offers you one of the best marketing and sales platforms that is not only proven, but well respected in the hobby, craft, and leisure industries in South Africa today. Now, as rewarding as HobbyX currently is for its exhibitors, and as exciting as it is for the visitors, there's a lot more that can be done with the show. And Messe Frankfurt have a lot of new ideas, and they're willing to share them with you. And I think Annalie is the best person to do that. She's the new show director, and I will hand over to her and let her tell you a little bit more about what's in store for the future of HobbyX. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria, for the very informative overview of what HobbyX is about and explaining why the event has been such a success for the past 23 years. I'm not going into detail on this current slide as Gloria has just touched on the current categories at the event already. I'm extremely excited to share the details of the newly identified categories with you, ensuring the event stays relevant and fresh. But before I tell you more about the new categories, we have our first poll. You will see the questions appearing on your screen. I just want to open up the poll. We're going to give you a moment to to give your answers, and then we'll share the results after the poll has closed down. We're on 66% of the attendees voted, standing on 70. %80 voted. Let's give it another 10 seconds. I think that's what we're going to get in. I'm ending the polling and I'm sharing the results for you on the screen. So 72% of the attendees on the webinar today has exhibited at HobbyX in the past, and we've got 28% newbies on the call today. So this is quite exciting. So over to the new categories at the event. We have researched the market and we've looked at categories that visitors will be interested in. Over the past couple of years, there has been a shift towards a more holistic lifestyle with a focus on healthy living. Think banting, veganism, and alternative lifestyles. The focus in this section will be on showcasing equipment to bake, make your own yogurt and ice cream. We're even looking at adding a grow to eat area with some DIY gardening tools and tips. Cycling, gym equipment and personal trainers, hiking and running are only a couple of the types of exhibitors that will form part of the outdoor living and sports section. It's all about outdoor living, exercising and keeping healthy and fit. Think. Flaring sessions, cocktail making kits, and live demonstrations. As you all know, brewing your own beer and making your own wines at home has become a bit of a trend in the last couple of months. The home brewing and craft roastery section will have exhibitors showing visitors the craft of brewing beer and making wine, and also showcase them the correct equipment to use. Then music and instruments as a category needs very little explanation, as music has been a hobby for many of us since childhood. Josh mentioned earlier that we host the Festival of Motoring and other motor industry related events, and we have standing relationship with companies like Roush and Shelby that does aftermarket fitments on cars. These areas will also include bikes and quads. The Dragon's Den area is an area for the independent business owner. I'll touch a little bit more on that category a little later on in the presentation. Gaming, electronics and technology category will showcase the latest technology devices and games, and this will be aimed at young and old. This section will be linked to an interactive and experiential area to have demos around devices and games. Now, fly fishing, canoes, and kayaks are all sports with a niche, but a very dedicated following. It's not well known to most of us, and we believe that this will make an extremely interesting addition to the event. Josh also mentioned earlier in the presentation that we hosted the photo and video experience at the in 2019. This event was launched with great success. We had more than 10,000 visitors and over 40 educational workshops. We're including photography and videography as a category at HobbyX next year. You can also expect this area to be extremely interactive. I wanted to show you on one page a snapshot of all the categories planned to be at HobbyX in 2021. The categories in the yellow blocks are the categories that's currently at HobbyX. The categories in the blue blocks show all the new categories that we are introducing at the 2021 edition of the event. We've also identified a couple of areas for growth of the event. There's 4 areas that we will be focusing on for the 2021 installment of the event. We know that HobbyX is a consumer-focused event, but there is a definite trade visitor element that we feel is important to expand on. Trade visitors will be researched, contacted, and then invited to attend the event. We will also be focusing on utilizing our existing database of over 100,000 people to share visitor emailers and market the event to them. Adding new content areas with our links to our other events like Festival of Motoring, All Fashion Sourcing, Photo and Video Experience, and Botica to bring even more interactive and experiential zones to the event. COVID-19. COVID-19 has challenged us to look at alternative ways of doing business. We have researched various options on enhancing our events with a digital platform which adds to the regular interaction with our audience. The options for HobbyX include educational virtual workshops and webinars ahead of the show. This will give exhibitors that have already confirmed their participation an opportunity to interact with visitors and build a relationship prior to the event with the audience. In order to increase visitor attendance, a bigger budget for marketing and publicity has been allocated to the 2021 event. This will also assist us in reaching new visitors and broaden the appeal of the show. More details on the marketing campaign in a bit. The visitor base of HobbyX can be broken down into 3 groups. The independent business owner, retailer, and trade visitor looking for new products to stock or use in their day-to-day business. This also includes teachers, occupational, and play therapists. There will be a focused drive to get more trade and business-to-business visitors to this event. Then people looking to start a new business. The current state of affairs leads to individuals looking at alternative ways to generate income, and people are focused on entrepreneurial side of starting their own business, how to turn their hobbies into money spinners, and also how to run these small businesses. I briefly touched on the Dragon's Den competition, and this can be executed within this group of individuals attending the event. Then hobbyists and crafters are probably the most important visitor to HobbyX. We will enhance the experiential and interactive zones, increasing the value to the visitors, ensuring there's enough to do at the event to keep them lingering around. Imagine a stage with demonstrations by exhibitors, some hands-on tutorials on how to use your smartphone camera to take those breathtaking photos, and how to make the perfect artisanal bread at home. I would now like to introduce my colleague, Melissa Bender, our Head of Marketing, who will take you through the marketing strategy and then discuss the increased marketing spend for the 2021 installment of the event. Melissa, over to you.
Thank you, Annelie. As mentioned, my name is Melissa Bender and I am the Head of Marketing for Messe Frankfurt, South Africa. Now, we've done marketing campaigns across various trade and consumer events, and the team and I are extremely excited about this new HobbyX campaign. 2 of my colleagues in the marketing department will also be working on this campaign. Priyanka Lachman and Laurel Koch. They're a bit camera shy, so they just sent a photo of themselves and left the hard work for me to do. But I'm just kidding. They've already started unpacking the various elements and working on the look and feel for the 2021 show. Now, before I get into the various marketing elements that we will be using to promote the event, I'd like to share the overall objectives of our campaign. The overarching aim is ultimately to create awareness to new and returning visitors. So we're looking to attract a wider audience by expanding the reach of our traditional marketing campaign and by using new platforms to grow interest. I'll be giving you more detail about those platforms as we go along. And the main two areas of communication will involve highlighting what to expect at the 2021 show and communicating the interactive elements and workshop program. And the key messaging will be to drive the pre-purchase of tickets to fast-track entry to the events. Lastly, we prioritize the growth of trade and retail buyers to the show. And as Annelie previously mentioned, we're adding new pillars and new categories, which presents the opportunity to attract a larger trade and retail buyer audience to the event. But how do we plan to do this? Annelie, can you change slides, please?
Sorry, there we go.
So the first point is to increase our marketing spend by roughly 30%. This will allow us to reach a much wider audience. I know Gloria and Elizabeth have forged very strong relationships with select publications, which we will continue to grow on. We will also expand into mainstream publications that are suitable for the brand. Now, we cannot undermine the influences of the influence of the bloggers and the vloggers, and we look to secure partnerships that are with suitable brand ambassadors in this regard, and that is aligned to the overall HobbyX brand. And a big focus will be to grow trade visitor attendance, as we understand the importance of this for you as an exhibitor. And this will be done through traditional and digital media platforms. Now, our out-of-home campaigns are targeted at catching the wider consumer network, as well as any additional trade visitors. And of course, digital marketing, especially during these times, is extremely important, and I will ensure that a significant budget goes into our digital campaigns. So this will include social media, Google AdWords, and very targeted messaging aligned to the categories of the show. Obviously, I know that the most important thing for you as an exhibitor is to ensure, I think it was Gloria or Elizabeth that mentioned this earlier, that we get the right visitor for your product to the event. And this is the foundation of our marketing campaign. And this is what we strive to do. Annelie, can you change slides, please? Yes, okay, so we will be doing our second poll now. So if you can please get ready to vote as Annelie brings this up onto the screen.
It's launching. There you go. The voting has started. %60 of the votes are in. Very close to 70%. So we'll give it another 15 seconds. Okay, it's standing still. I'm ending the polling and sharing the results. So mostly better marketing of the event, more exhibitor categories, more interactive content. And then in terms of marketing, Melissa, social media marketing.
Yes, so we have touched on that. Thank you, everyone.
Exactly.
We certainly appreciate your valuable feedback in this regard, and we trust that our marketing campaign for 2021 will live up to your expectations. Okay, so while HobbyX is known for its hands-on workshops, we're looking to capitalize on this by offering even more interactive and experiential zones. So this is aimed to engage visitors and to generate excitement on the show floor. In our experience with some of our other consumer events, we realize that this tends to keep visitors at the show for a much longer time. So these interactive areas will be focused around topics such as healthy living, gaming, and the introduction of a very exciting Dragon's Den element for independent business owners. So in the past, we partnered, well, with one of our events last year, we partnered with ABSA. And this was extremely well received. And the winner, he received a significant financial contribution towards his business and a business mentorship program. So we're looking forward to bringing this element to the HobbyX brand. Next slide, please, Annalie. Another exciting initiative for HobbyX exhibitors is the introduction of a potential virtual exhibition platform. Now, we know 2020 has not been a great financial year for many small to medium-sized businesses, and we want to facilitate an ongoing exchange by offering you this virtual platform. I know it's very new for a lot of exhibitors, but it allows you to display your products and services to a relevant audience. And it allows visitors to view your products in a virtual environment. The benefit, of course, is that it's not a regional event, but more of a national and international platform for your business. The platform will be live for up to 6 months, and it's suitable for any products that you're even looking to launch to an unlimited audience. So anything that you're wanting to launch into the market, this would be a good platform to do that. And any exhibitors who sign up for the 2021 show before, I think it's the end of October, will be entitled to a discounted rate on the virtual platform. And you can contact Annalie. She will give you more information. We will be sending out an email after this webinar with all of our contact details and the relevant people to contact, and she will be able to give you more information on how to participate in the virtual platform. We're also introducing a webinar series, and this is aimed at keeping visitors engaged and providing brand exposure in the run-up to the next physical event. Again, if you want to participate in that, if you're wanting to launch a new product, or if you believe that your business is suitable to present a webinar to a targeted audience, then please get in touch with Annalie and she will be able to assist you in getting this done. Next slide, please, Annalie. So I've obviously explained the benefit of the virtual platform for you as an exhibitor, but what would this mean for visitors? They would be able to log onto the virtual platform. If they are interested in a specific product, all they need to do is type that product into the search category. And any exhibitors who has already predefined that this product forms part of what they do as a business, those exhibitors' names will pop up and they will be able to connect with you. They could even set up video calls to have face-to-face discussions in a virtual environment. They can request quotes for your products, they can view your products, and they can click through to relevant links for more products, your suppliers, your website, or anywhere that you are presenting your product on a virtual platform or in a digital space. Could be your Facebook page, your website, and so on. They would be able to click through to that. And as an exhibitor, you would also be able to live stream content back onto the platform and the visitor will be able to view it. So it's this one hub where neither you nor your client needs to leave your home. You can sit behind your computer but still continue the engagement in a virtual environment. Next slide, please, Emily. Okay, on to our, poll number 3, and then I'm going to hand back to Annelies shortly. And this is regarding the virtual solutions. We want to know how you feel about this and if you feel that these virtual solutions will suit you as a HobbyX exhibitor. And I just want to thank you for listening to our information regarding our marketing campaign. And I look forward to working with many of you, myself and my team, look forward to working with you towards a successful 2021 show.
We're about halfway there with votes in. I'm going to give it about another 15 seconds. We're standing on 63% of attendees voted. More seconds. I'm closing the polling and I'm sharing the results. So we have 62% of attendees on the webinar saying that they will consider listing on the virtual platform. So that's positive. And then between maybe and yes with the educational webinars. So it looks like something that we can pursue. I just want to close this up. Thank you, Melissa, for all the insights on marketing. I think it's extremely exciting. Okay, so I'm sure a lot of our exhibitors have questions with regards to next year and the event dates. The dates for HobbyX 2021 has been confirmed as the 4th to the 7th of March at the Ticket Pro Dome. Should we see, due to the concerns around COVID-19, that it is better for the event to be postponed, we have alternative dates provisionally booked for May 2021. We also want to assure all our exhibitors that have all paid deposits that this will be carried over to the next installment of the event, and you will not lose those deposits. We understand that there's also levels of concern around the COVID-19 safety guidelines. The Ticket Pro Dome management has put certain safety measures in place already. We have discussed as a team limitations on attendance and will pre-sell tickets online in order to assist with keeping numbers aligned to government guidelines. These guidelines, however, have not yet been gazetted. Further to this, we can widen the aisles between stands, and we can also look at having one-way traffic throughout the event. And now for the final poll of today's session. Now that you've seen all the plans that we've got for the event next year, we want your feedback. Just want to launch it. We want to understand if you are interested in receiving a quote from us and more information about the 2021 event, so one of our team members can make contact with you. And also, which of the new categories you think would add the most value to the event. About half of the attendees have voted. I'm giving about 10 more seconds because it seems like the votes have stopped coming in. And I'm sharing the results. So Gloria, it seems we're going to be quite busy. We need to make contact with quite a lot of people. And then on the categories, it seems outdoor lifestyle is one of the tops, and then photography and videography, which I'm quite excited about. And then also the craft beer and the craft roastery area and holistic lifestyle. Just want to stop this over here and go to the final slide. We are extremely excited about HobbyX 2021, and we are looking forward to meeting with all the loyal exhibitors and also all the new exhibitors. And we would like to meet with you personally once we are able to do so safely. I also want to thank you so much for taking the time today to join us. We invite you to call any of us should you have questions regarding the event. Thank you so much. That's it from me.
Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you at the event next year, or hopefully before. Take care, good luck.